It's time to extend our CAGED knowledge by adding ninth chords into the mix. So we're going to be doing some nerding out on how I use my CAGED shapes to get my ninth chords and find wherever they are on the fretboard and absolutely crush it. And you guys can do it too. It's very, very easy. There's pretty much only two shapes that we're going to be working on, so it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're new here, my name is Luan. I'm a professional musician, live streamer, content creator, all that jazz. Graduated from Berkeley with a scholarship. We have a free online music school where you guys can learn everything I know about music for free. Is going to be awesome. We can keep uploading there. So this is part of our guitar course, but there's also a theory component that you can also go and check out, which is going to be the ninth chord theory stuff. But I'll quickly recap it in the video right now. Ninth chords is like the first, really, really cool tension that we're going to add on top of our seventh chord shapes. So it's really, really cool. John Mayer uses it. Even the example I gave, Careless Whisper. It's a banger of a sound, that right there. Ooh, so sexy. So basically the way you build a ninth chord is we're going to be stacking another third on top of our seventh chord. So it's going to be root, third, fifth, seventh, and then ninth. So it's very, very cool. But when we're playing on the guitar, we have to make choices because I just gave you 5 notes, right? And so when we're talking about seventh chords and how we can find them within the CAGED system, we start going in order of priority, right? So the order of priority that we're going to take for a ninth chord is going to be root note, ninth, then third and seventh, and there's pretty much just like don't even bother bringing in the fifth. It's just such a waste of space. But if you can't fit it in, you can if you want to. During the E shape, you can pretty much bring in the fifth, but it's like not really that important. So you can completely eliminate the fifth if you like. And it's going to make a really, really pretty chord. You'll hear it in a sec. So just remember, we go in order of priority of what note we want to bring in and like the notes that we're going to eliminate from the, triad shapes that we have between using the CAGED system. So in the CAGED system, there's 2 shapes that we're going to go through. We'll do our level 1 shape, which will be the E shape. So let's just stick to a G chord. We've got our G major 9, G minor 9, and our G dominant 9. So the major 9 is going to be root, third, fifth, seventh, ninth. So we're going to get our G shape. So we're going to take our G chord, with the E shape. Slide that E shape up here. Boom. I got my G major chord right here. Now we want to get our G major 9. So we're going to bring the root down to the 7th. And then we got our third here, 5th, and then our 9 is up here. Because we got our root, there's our 9. So there's my G major 9. That's how quick we find it. So on an E-shaped chord, a ninth is pretty much you go the octave on the high E string and just go up 2 frets, so go up a tone. And that's where you're going to find it every single time. You're not going to do any other ninth shape. Like we're not gonna, obviously there's another ninth over here, but we really want to bring out the third. You don't want to be missing the third. And also we want the 9. So these tensions that we bring out, we want them to be at the top of the chord, like top of, as in the highest pitch. So, because they're like this shimmer, this pretty thing that sits over the top of the chord. You don't want to be bringing the ninth down low in a lower pitch or inside the chord because it just makes it muddy and it doesn't really sound good. Technically, you probably could, but we don't want to do that because it's no bueno. So here we go. That's our G major 9. Now let's go into G minor 9, which would be root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9. So with this one, we've already done our E shape. We know how to do our major 7 right here. So we're just going to throw the 9 on top right here on that 5th fret on the high E string. So we got our major 7, our minor 7 then, G minor 7, and then G minor 9. And then every time you do that, just always think Careless Whisper. And it will sound very, very cool. And then our dominant 9 chord shape, we're going to be keeping on the E shape. We're going to be playing, it's root, third, 5th, flat 7, 9. And we just go like this. We know how to play our dominant 7th chord right there, so we just chuck the 9th on top. So remember the root note is here again, and there's our 9. Bam. And so that's going from the E shape, crushing it. And that's all we're going to be doing. So that's like level 1 of like getting ninth chords while you have like the root note on the low E string. So we got our major 9, we got a minor 9, and we got our dominant 9. Very, very cool stuff. And so if you're ever in a situation where you need to do like a sharp 9 or a flat 9, you're pretty much just going to get this 9 and then you're going to bring it down or up, and that's it. So like say for instance it's a major chord. If it's a major chord, you can sometimes you'll see a sharp 9 where it'll be like, but we would kind of like, we would at that point, like say you're playing that kind of music, we would be eliminating the root note, and then we would be jumping down here and getting our phrasing correct. Or you could do, but that's like fancy stuff, and it's not practical, so we're not going to jump into it. Jazz players do this kind of stuff. You'll see it on jazz charts, but I don't think a lot of you are going to be doing that. I think a lot of you just want to be clever in your pop songs, and that's what I do with all my ninth chords. Now, the second shape that we're going to jump into is going to be, it's going to be a mix between the C and the A shape. We're going to be borrowing kind of spots between the two, but more towards the C. So let's jump right in. I'm just gonna go with a D shape, like a D chord, because it's in the middle here. It's kind of nice. So the very first chord is going to be our D major 7. So we're going to go root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9. Now, if I've got my D, like I use my C shape right now for the D chord here, well, I'm going to get my first 2 over here because that's my root 3rd. And then I'm going to build the other half of the chord, because I like getting a 9th chord out of this one is just going to be super, super annoying because I just don't have the hand span to pull it off. I don't have super big hands. So what I'm going to do here is the first half of it is going to be the C shape, and then the bottom half is going to be the A shape. So I've got the top half of the C, and then the bottom half of the A. And then if I combine those two, with our powers combined, we get Captain major 9. So we got root 3rd, and then I go from here to another root, bring it down to the 7. And then over here is my 3rd, bring it down to the 9. So I go root 3rd, 7, 9. And boom, I got my D major 9. So hopefully that didn't confuse you too much, because obviously with the E shape, it's just the one shape. But here I'm using that top half of the C shape, and then I'm using the bottom half of the A shape to help me navigate. And so that's just to understand what's happening under the hood. Once you memorize this shape and you get it down, it's pretty much like, it's the gold standard of major 9s. And like, this is the thing that John Mayer uses in like all of his songs. I mean, some of his songs. No Such Thing is huge. You know, he does that. So you can use that. Now we're going to go onto our minor 9 shape. So it'd be root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Top half, we're going to use the minor. So that's root, flat 3. And then we're going to force out the rest of it down here. So root down to flat 7, and then flat 3 down to 9. So, because that's my A minor shape. And then this is my C shape, C minor shape. And then that's what I'm doing. You can see how I'm combining it. So we've got root, flat 3, flat 7, 9. And that's a D minor 9. And now the last shape is going to be the D dominant 9. So that's going to be root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7, 9. And obviously you're seeing within these chords, I'm not playing a 5th. So I've completely eliminated the 5th. I'm only playing 4 notes. And so that's what happens with this, this approach. You don't have to be playing every single note. You can kind of do what you want. You don't need to get every single note in there. I would highly recommend, when you're now using the root note on the A string, you're sticking to just the 4 notes, which is the root, 3, 5, and 7. So you're not like doing any extra 5th on there, not trying to add an extra, like an octave of the root note. Like, you don't need that stuff. You just need just the root, the 3rd, the 7th, and the 9 those 4 notes are going to give you all the harmonic information you need. All right, so let's move on to our dominant 9 chord. So that's root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7, 9. And we're going to do the same thing that we did. The root 3rd using our C shape. And then over here, we're going to get our flat 7 root using our A shape. And then our 3, 9. So root, 3rd, flat 7, 9. Some people like to bar it. So they get their first finger on the 5th fret A string and then 4th fret like that. And build it out like that. So that's up to you if you want to do that. But that's all that's happening there under the hood. So if you want me to kind of like super spell it out for you, with just like a quick recap, if you want to do a super spell out, on our root 6 shape, these shapes, you can obviously Google them, but I'm just going to show you exactly how I would typically play them. My thumb is going to go on the, say I'm going to play a G major 9 shape. My thumb's going to be on the root note on 3rd fret E string. And then I'm going to have my middle finger is going to be on the 4th fret D string. My ring finger is going to be on the 4th fret G string. My first finger is going to be on the 3rd fret B string. And my pinky will be on the 5th fret E string. And that gets me my major 9. And now for the minor 9 shape, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bar the 3rd fret with my first finger and my thumb on the root note. And then my pinky or 3rd finger, whatever I prefer, I typically use pinky, will be hitting the 5th fret on the high E string, and that gets my minor 9. And then my dominant 9, I typically do it like this, or you can just do your shape like this with the bar. So you can either have this, your first finger and thumb barring the 3rd fret, and then you have your middle finger hitting that 3rd, which is going to be on the 4th fret G string, and then your pinky is going to get the 9 on the 5th fret high E. So that's the E shape, kind of spelling it out for you if you want to do it that way. And then for the A mixed with the C shape, where we're going to be having the root note on the 5th string. Like say I'm going to play a D major 7 for you, D major 9, sorry, for y'all. We're going to play 5th fret with the 2nd finger on the low A string. First finger is going to be on the 4th fret on the D string. Pinky is going to be on the 6th fret G string, and then our ring finger is going to be on the 5th fret B string. And that gets that one. Then for the minor 9, so D minor 9, I've got my middle finger will stay there on the root on the 5th fret A string. Now first finger is going to drop down to the 3rd fret on the D string. Ring finger is going to be 5th fret on the G string, and pinky will be on the 5th fret of the B string. And that's my D minor 9. And then my dominant 9, all I'm doing is keeping that shape right there, and I just move my first finger up to the 3rd, which will be on the 4th fret D string. And that gets me my dominant 9. It's good. D major 9, D minor 9, D dominant 9. And hopefully that gives you the framework that you need to absolutely crush it playing 9th chords. Very, very easy chord shapes to add. And if you need help with the diatonics where you can fit them in, just go through the theory portion of the 9th chords and it will definitely help you out getting that done. So have fun and enjoy your new chord shapes.